26 minutes past 11, and it's Neville Coupland, and he's an expert in Aikido. Aikido? What in earth is Aikido, you'd say to yourself. Neville, very good morning to you. Welcome along to Lincoln City Radio. How are you doing?
Yeah, great, Malcolm. Good morning. It's great to be here.
It is. It's nice to see you. I've got to admit, there's so many of these martial arts. Can you explain exactly what Aikido is?
Well, Aikido is a Japanese martial art. It's different to other martial arts in the sense that it's not actually a sport. So, for example, karate and judo, they've developed in a sporting manner, and Aikido has remained in a traditional form, which is based on self-discipline, self-development, and to polish the spirit and to train for a long time, which is why it's beneficial for older people. Sporting activities like judo and even something like tennis are very powerful, explosive sports, and which are great for young people to train and develop. But as they get older and the power becomes less and less, they're more difficult to maintain into older age.
I know you made a comment to somebody when you walked into the studio, they've got good posture. Now, I'm always accused of having bad posture. Is this something which Aikido can sort out?
Yeah, I mean, straight away, the alignment of the body is the most important part to show how power is transmitted. So obviously, if you see somebody in a distress situation, often the spine is curved forward, people will move towards the front of the body, which lowers the head, and that shows that that state is not a confident state. And it's quite clear once someone starts studying Aikido that you can see from a seated posture or standing posture how that energy is transmitted.
I think actually if you were watching while you were talking there, I was actually sitting up straight. We haven't got the webcam, and I'm now sitting up straight. And
yeah, well,
I think you saying that made me sit up straight and think, no, you're right. I am slouching.
Sure. So awareness is the most important part, and Aikido does that because straight away it requests of an individual to assess their own internal structure, and on a physical form, on a mental form, and obviously at a slightly different stage in a spiritual form as well. So you can think about all of those things. If you have a good body and the mind is thinking in a good way, then obviously those two combined could be determined to be the energy of a person.
Okay, so how did you actually get into doing Aikido? Was that something you've always done, or did you start on some other martial arts before you did that?
Well, I travelled over to Japan after university to teach English, and while I was in Tokyo, I decided to delve a little bit deeper into Japanese culture because I found them a very interesting people. There was such a different way of life to what I was used to in the UK and in Lincoln, and I wanted to understand more. So a hobby that was created in Japan, which is Aikido, would give me access to language study and also the mental and physical development of Japanese people. And
you say you've been to Japan, you've been there for quite a long time, haven't you? Over
a
period of time.
Well, once I initially went just for a year, but I became so engrossed in Aikido that I eventually stayed for over 5.5 years, and I trained to become an instructor with the idea of coming back to Lincoln, my home city, and teaching the incredible Japanese art to people in Lincoln. And now I've opened 4 primary school classes around Lincoln, including Mannerley School, Sir Francis Hill, and a few others. And I also do evening classes for adults and young people as well across the week.
We're talking about elderly people who are older doing it. What sort of exercises, or how can they get involved in dealing with Aikido?
Well, as you said before, Malcolm, straight away, as soon as someone talks about posture and the way somebody holds their body, it's virtually an instant response system that the body goes, is that me? Is that me? Is that me that's sat not correctly? So an elderly person sat in a chair, for example, watching TV, if they had the idea of their posture while they're watching TV, they could correct that posture and elevate the spine, and that lifts obviously the heart and the internal organs, and that creates a better flow of blood and energy for that person.
So when you sat watching television, you don't slouch, and you should be sat upright, because a lot of chairs these days aren't really designed for you to sit up straight, are they?
Well, that's right. I mean, it's for relaxation purposes, which is great. Relaxation is a very essential part, and to find that balance in study of martial arts is essential, because the human being needs relaxation time. But if the relaxation time outweighs the moments of tension and excitement and movement, then there's an imbalance. And to find that balance, Aikido means to harmonise energy, and that can be with the individual, or that can be with another person or a group of people and society as a whole.
When you're in Japan, can you speak the language? Did you have to do everything in Japanese, or was it taught to you in English?
It was considered by the sensei in Japan a very, very important point that people who went to Japan should learn Japanese, and it is something that I've studied. I took a couple of examinations in Japan, and so I would say I'm roughly about 50% fluent in Japanese.
Okay, we're going to take a break now. What would be nice, I don't know if you can do this, we're going to play a track, and I thought quite appropriate, because posture and everything is army. We've got a track in the army now by Status Quo. Can you introduce that in Japanese for us?
Sure. Kore kara ima no uta wa in the army now, status quo. Hajimemashou.
Yeah, everybody understood that. I understood that. Well done. We'll be back with you very, very shortly then.
Thank you.